Hello, guys. Yeah, welcome to another cool time we blessed. And today we're back to the AWS labs. It's been pretty busy for me, work and a couple of other stuff. So I delayed and I couldn't get one of this video out last week. So today what we'll be doing, let me quickly cut out the content of task today. So a task for today, we'll be doing something around network security architecture. We'll be creating a VPC. If you don't know what VPC is, it's actually the virtual private cloud. It's that layer of security abstraction that helps you to manage your networking. Then you've got the create and configure. We're going to be creating and configuring security groups. Then we'll attach EC2 instances on VPC, then as well as attach security group on EC2 instance. Then we'll create and configure network access control list. As a de facto, it's always good to have that ACL to manage what is allowed and what isn't allowed in your environment. So stick around and have fun with this video. So I'm going to drop this down. And quickly, we're just going to search VPC here. AWS has got a bunch of services, so if you're not familiar with them, right here you can drop down the services. You will see quite a lot of them, and it's been grouped. So if you're looking for compute, if you're looking for customer enablement or machine learning, or maybe even a cost management thing, so you can plan that budget, very critical, so you don't overspend. Containers or storage, I love the S3 bucket thing, pretty cool stuff, and also AWS backup. Then it's just got these groups. You can work with that if you're not familiar with them. So, but today we're going for VPC. So we're just going to stick for VPC. We'll click this open. Then we will be greeted with that welcoming page where you see the VPC thing happening. Okay, so we can see this is the dashboard. My network might be a little bit slow and behind a VPN. So great. Now looking at this, for some it might seem like it's a whole lot happening here, but I believe we'll be working through in bits just so we are able to touch some cool stuff. So right here at my left, you will see the dashboard, the global EC2 global view, or you can see the virtual private cloud and all probably configurations that can be done in these environments. Then down in security, you can see the ACLs, which we'll be looking at later, as well as the security group. Then reachability, also you can also configure stuffs there. Then the DNS firewall as well, pretty much important to do that with the whole DNS attacks we've been hearing about, and also BGP stuff. You don't want to be left hanging. So the network firewall as well, very important. Then the VPN, important as well. You can create those keys and also ensure that they are secure. So for today, we're just going to launch the wizard because we're trying to make this as simple as possible. We'll stick with the VPC with a single public subnet. Now we've got options for VPC with public and private subnets, or VPC with public and private subnet and hardware VPN access, as well as VPC with private subnet only and hardware VPN. But today we'll just stick with a single public subnet because this is just our lab environment. So we're going to select this. Now we're greeted with this page where we can set up some configuration. So the first thing you see here is the IPv4 CIDR. If you don't know what the CIDR is, the classless inter-domain routing, I'm sure you want to go back and do a little bit of networking because it's going to be pretty tough for you. But we can see there's a class A IP address with the /16. /16 seems to me like the class B subnet mask, because we know /8 is still class A subnet mask. But anyways, I hope I don't bore you with all that stuff. You could go look up, I think I will leave a link in the description to a video where you can learn some fun stuff around CIDR. Okay, I think there's a 7-minute Professor Mercer's video, which I will link you up with. So we can see in this class 16, we've got 65,535 IP addresses available. I believe these are the hosts. It doesn't include the network, I believe so. So we can see there's also an opportunity to work with the IPv6, but today I think we won't be doing that. if you want to, we can actually set up that thing there, set up something owned by us or maybe AWS provided IPv6 stuff. So we'll just give our VPC a name. Maybe we'll just call it YouTube Lab or ULab. Okay, cool. So we can see also the public socket IP slider. Here we're sticking with the /24. I think that's pretty much fine. And we've got this for /24. We know it's a class C mask. Hence, we've got that 250. Maybe take out the network, take out the broadcast 250 from what is staying in 251 IP addresses available. Then also for the availability zone, now we can set that if we want to, but I'm just going to stick with no preference just because I want to leave this bare vanilla. So, but you can actually make all these configurations if you're doing this probably in an enterprise environment, or maybe you're trying to build that VPC. You want to make sure you check out availability zones closer to you, and also because of networking issues and all those latency stuff. Okay, so great. Availability zone, we'll leave that. The subnet name, we'll just give it a name. Let's call it the ULab again, just for consistency. Or we'll just call it UN. Okay, great. Now, we can add service endpoints, but for this lab, we won't be doing that. But trust me, you can actually do that. Then enable DNS host name. Obviously, we're going to do that. Then also the hardware tenancy, we'll just stick to defaults because we don't have anything pretty much in our environment. Then we can review that settings once more. Then we can just create. It's always good to review. Trust me, you don't want to just click and have to start deleting and also going back again. So we'll create that VPC. It's going to go through this and it's going to give us our VPC. Then we'll be seeing the default and maybe the ones we have just created. So if I scroll a bit up here, we can see your VPC has been successfully created. Now I can see my VPC. If I click your VPC, it's going to show me, probably it's going to show the defaults and the one which I just created. So look at the one I just created here. This is the default one. So we see some, that's 173, I think it's the class B. So for the private, so we can see the one I just created is the ULab, and we can see the VPC ID. It's available. We can see the IP side. Then also we can go all the way to my right. We'll see the DHCP option. We'll see the main route table. Very important, and also the main network ACLs. Now we're going to be making some modifications to some of these things here, but I just want to show you that it's pretty easy to get the VPC thing standing, and from this point you may want to start doing a few other things, probably just to harden things up or tighten things up to suit what you really wanted to do. Okay, so I could click on each of these just to maybe load up and view what is in there. There's no harm. It's not going to crash the thing, or it's not going to shut down nothing. Okay, so we can see the domain name. It's internal. We can see the domain name server as well, the A records and all the stuff there. We can look at all that happening here. We haven't done any configuration yet, so it's still kind of like this bare thing right there for us, which is what we'll be working with, obviously, because at the next point, we'll be looking at creating and configuring security groups. But I just want to show you this, and we can look at the details here, and that will be it for this first wrap of the task. Hey guys, so it took me the whole day yesterday. I got pretty busy, and as you can see, I'm in a new outfit. All right, so yesterday we did create the VPC, and we named it ULab, as you can see right there, over there. Then today we'll be completing this remaining task. We'll create and configure a security group, then attach EC2 instance on the VPC, as well as attach security group on the EC2. Then we will create and configure network access control list just at the basic level. If you haven't been following up, we are actually doing this for the AWS series, and you can go check up on our YouTube channel. Please do like our videos and subscribe, please. Then also turn on the notification button so you can always get the notice whenever we drop a new video on YouTube there. Okay, so I'm going to drop this. Then we are here, so we can see from yesterday we had this. This is our default. If we check on the subnets, maybe just playing around at the current level, we can see these ones are the default ones which are actually there, but this is the one which we created yesterday. Okay, great. So we're just going to quickly drop into security group. Under security, you will see network ACL and security group. First, we'll be going to security group. So click on that. All right, great. So once again, we can see this default thing happening here. But I think we'll be creating a security group. So we're just going to click on that. Now for our security group, we might set up some basic configuration. Maybe we'll call it the ULab. I think maybe again, ULab. Then maybe a description. Let's just say allow connection from ULab. That sounds like Chinese. ULab. All right, great. So if we look at the VPC, we've got this VPC info thing over there, but we do know that at the basic level, this is fine. Because I don't think there's anything else we need to do there. If we fall all the way down, maybe just to check a few things, we can see the VPC ID. I think I'm fine with that details there. Inbound rules. Currently, there are no rules, so we are going to probably be looking out for our VPC which we created in the previous lab. There's something pretty interesting that I think I should just let you guys know. You see right in front of each of these tasks, you see there's an info button there. That's quite intuitive, because if you are stuck or you get lost somehow, you can just click on that little info icon there, and it's going to give you maybe a documentation that you can actually read up through to probably fix stuff. So we're just going to select this and look for our ULab, which happens to be this one there. By default, you will find something else there, but we want our ULab. So inbound rules, for now, we will just leave that as nothing, because we'll be doing that later. Then outbound rules as well, we'll leave as nothing, we'll do that later. Then tag. Now the tag is something that is pretty intuitive as well. It can help. You can see here, a tag is labeled that you assign to AWS resource. Each tag consists of a key and an optional value. You can use tag to search and filter resources or track your costs. Very, very important. You do tagging if you have multiple instances, but I'm not going to be doing a tag for this particular this particular security group. I'm just going to create that group. So it's going to do that rolling thing, and there we go. Now we've got the ULab security group up and running. We will be making some changes to the defaults, because as you can see, outbound rule count is just one permission entry. We might be making some changes to the default settings for the inbound and the outbound. Nothing currently. Okay, just keep that in mind. Currently, we can see outbound is all traffic. That's pretty much not safe anyways. We'll be fixing that later. Okay. Okay, so let's get this thing a little bit secure. We're going to be adding some inbound rule just to tighten up things a bit. So we're going to, right here, we will see the inbound, outbound, and tag options. We're just going to go for the inbound for now. We will edit it, and let's see if we can add some rules at the basic level. For now, we can go complex, probably by doing some custom stuff. Maybe custom, then we'll customize it based on what we want. But I think we're just going to leave this currently. Let's start with SSH. Let's leave it custom. For SSH, I'm going to specify the public IP address range, private IP address range. Sorry, I'm going to use the 192.168.0.0/24. I think that's pretty much fine. Then call this allow SSH connection from subnets, from specified subnets. Okay, Then we'll add another one quickly. Let's call this one, let's do RDP this time around, 3389, and also the same 192.168 slash 24. Then allow RDP from specified subnets. Then let's add two more. Let's add HTTP and HTTPS. So first HTTP on port 80. Then for this, I'm going to just push this out. Maybe stretch up a bit. Allow. Maybe we'll call this allow inbound HTTP. Then maybe add HTTPS this time around for that encrypted stuff 443. Then I'll push this out for all. Then I'm going to call this allow inbound HTTPS. Well, the description should be something that best suits your use case or what you want it to be, so it's a bit flexible. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much fine with all this. I'm just going to save this and allow that populate. Then pretty cool. So you can see we've got on our security group, we've been able to create this inbound rule to manage connections. I think at this level we are done with the inbound. Now, like I did say, you can probably go granular by using custom and probably setting these things to do what you want it to do. So let's see. Okay, so currently for the outbound, if you look at that, which is connections from us to the wild, we can see it's allowing all traffic. Now, this might not be the best you want. Maybe for just in case you are being attacked or you've been compromised and maybe the hackers are trying to exfiltrate data, you can completely shut down, traffic that you do know that you have nothing to do with or you have no business dealing with, and you don't want that to be going out from your instance. You can lock this up by setting out those outbound rules so it does not allow traffic to maybe specific traffic, just the way we saw in the previous case. Let me just show that just so we have a head around it. I didn't want to touch that, but I'll just show that. Now currently we're allowing all traffic. I don't think this is the best security practice, so we might want to specify traffic that we want to allow outbound, and just in case there had been a breach and exfiltration of data, although we do know that the bad guys can use that technique to exfiltrate data, but just to probably cut down or manage the way it becomes easy for them or easier for them to pull out stuff, you can lock this down by specifying those outbound rules. Pretty important to do. Okay, so for now we're just going to move on, and our next task will be if I probably pull that task thing up, since we have this done. We have created and configured a security group. Now we're attaching an EC2 instance on the VPC. Let's see how that's going to work out for us pretty fast. I'm going to just browse to HTTPS. I see there's the console, EC2 console. Then we'll be looking for EC2 specifically. Okay, great. Let's open that thing up. Okay, so we're going to launch this when it opens up correctly. Okay, so this is up. I didn't want to do that here because I want to leave this here, probably falling back to that. So now we're going to just launch this thing. So I'm going to, if I look at this, let me just launch an instance because of demonstration purpose, but I'm going to shut it down. I think I'd shut down the ones which I did the last one of the videos which you recorded. So I'm going to launch an instance for now. Okay, let's wait for that to load up. Now look at that. Okay, so I will try not to push too far so I don't incur charges that ain't nobody gonna pay for. I'm gonna be the one paying for it. Anyways, I've got a costing set up for myself just to manage how much I'm able to spend. Once I hit that limit, it's gonna just throw that notification at me that, hey bro, you wanna shoot? Okay. Okay, so next is what I consider one of the most important, interesting part of this task. So we are going to have to maybe choose an image and see what we're going to probably fall back. If I push back a bit, just so we're following up with our launching instance. So if I launch instance, this loads up. Now we have the option to select the image which we want. You can see there's Mac Pixel currently. That's cool. That's what I'm using currently. Then there's Mac Catalina. There's the Mojave. Then also you've got a bunch of all these other Ubuntu stuff happening, even the Windows stuff happening in there. Debian, depending on what you want to build. So also you can see way back stuff like some Windows Server things happening in there, depending on just what you want. So we're going to work with the Amazon Linux today because this falls within the free tier eligibility. Okay, so we're going to just chill with that. We can actually chill with this, or we can chill with the Windows. This also falls within the free tier. Now there are a bunch of others that falls within the free tier also. So if you don't want to spend, you can just look out for those and just work with those. For me, it's more on just a demonstration purpose. So I'm going to work with this. I think 64-bit x86 is fine by me, not the ARM. I want x86. So I'm going to select that. All right, let's wait for that thing to just load up a bit. Okay, so we can see what's happening right here. Now choose an instance type. We have to select the instance type which we want. I'm also going to be looking out for what falls within the free tier because I just don't want to spend or incur charges. Okay, so right here we can see this is quite intuitive. Well, I just select this one for me. Anyway, so reviewing what you want for the particular instance type, it's very important because it's what will guide you to understanding the CPUs, the virtual CPUs, the memories, the storage, the EBS thing happening in there, then also the network performance and also supports maybe optimized availability as well. So if we look at our current choice, which is this, it's C2 micro, falls within the free tier as well. That's why I'm sticking up. Probably that's why by default it selected that for me. Okay, so if we look at that, we've got one virtual CPU. We're pretty much fine with that. We've got 1 GB memory. We're also pretty much fine with that. EBS only. We're pretty much fine with that anyways. EBS optimized storage is not available for us. Then also the network performance is pretty much low to moderate, but well, who cares as long as there is support. IPv6 such support and a few other things that we can work with. Now the caveat here is depending on what you really want this for, you can just intuitively build this. You can see up to 8 cores, crazy stuff happening there, 32 GB memory. Depending if you want monster CPUs like 36 cores, it's up to you, no problem. As long as you can pay the bills. Good. All right, go. So we're going to continue with this. Now we've got this selected by default. We're just going to maybe, can we configure the details for now, or we just, let's configure the details without launching. Let's not launch. Let's look at it one more time. So we can see number of instances, 1, purchasing option. For now, we'll just leave that network. So we might want to select this ULAB stuff, subnets. Also push that in there. Then assign a public IP address. Maybe we enable that. Placement group. Now remember, whatever you're doing, you want to put security at heart. Very, very important, which is the whole essence of what we're doing anyways. Or to assign public IP. So I think it's fine to just randomly do that. Placement group. Maybe capacity reservation and none of that. Domain, join directly. I think none for now. IAM role, maybe none for now. Don't forget, you can actually do all this. You can create new if you don't have any. But I'm not doing that. It's very important. Actually, there should be an IAM role stuff. But I'm using my root account, a shutdown behavior. So stop. Then, depending on what you want, this is just quite intuitive to the point that you can actually build this to meets your standard or your organization's security standard. I'm not going to tell you any specific standard for here. I'm just showcasing how you can actually do this if you haven't done this before. Okay, so we're going to just move on to the next. Let's add storage to this. Okay, currently we can see what we have. The root volume, that's the XDDA. Then we've got the snapshot thing. Then also the size is 8 gigabytes. I think that's pretty much fine for what we're doing. Basically, it's demonstration purpose, and I wouldn't want to push beyond the free tier or jump out of the free tier and start incurring charges. Encryption, maybe we still have a KMS stuff there, I think. Okay, so we might just encrypt that storage. So we're cool with this. Now, maybe we'll add tags. I don't think we should add tag. Probably we've not been using tagging from the start, so there might just not be a need to add tag. Okay, so I think we're pretty much fine, or we'll just give it a name for now. Let's call this our U lab, maybe U lab web server. Yeah, great. Now we've got that thing happening. Okay. Instance volume network. Okay, pretty much cool. Okay, so we're going to configure the security group. Rules with source. Okay, so look at that. Rules with source. Everything in the public, like in the internet, allow all IP address to access your instance. Recommend setting. So instantly, it's telling us, giving us this warning for SSH thing happening there. So we want to quickly fix that. Okay, so because you don't want to leave this here, or you don't want to leave this here. This is bad. This you can actually customize it to what you specifically want, but not here. Here it's telling anybody in the internet to actually come in. So let's look that thing up a bit. Let's customize it. Maybe we'll set up that customization for the IP address which we want to access. So maybe for better security purpose, probably we can select an existing security group and only allow this one which we've created, the ULab. So we know we've got these ACL pretty much built here for inbound traffic, and I think that will be automatically uploaded into the configuration database. So we're going to review this and launch, and we've got that thing up. So one final review. See, we are using free tier stuff, so we're not paying. Be sure if you don't want to spend, be sure you know what you're doing. Let's just review everything which you've done. We left most of the configurations defaults. The storage, we'll review that as well. We've got that happening. We use that KMS to encrypt it. Then tag which you created. I'm just going to note the name of the tag, ULab web server. Okay, great. Okay, so let's launch this stuff. So I'm just gonna click on launch. Then we're greeted with this stuff here happening. Now we pretty much need to fix this. So I'm going to probably create a new key pair. I think I'll stick with the RSA and I'll just give it ULab, which is what we've been working with, the key pair name. Then I'm going to download it. I think it's going to save on my local box. I'll save that file. Because we'll need that to actually connect. I'm not sure if it's stuck. Okay, good. That's fine. Now we can launch the instance and wait for that initialization to complete. Your instance are now launching. So we can view the launch log, or we can actually see it's been initiated. Great. Okay. So let's go view our instance. We're just going to click on view instance. And we can see it's still initializing. Anyways, it might take a while for that stuff to complete. But we have the instance. If I click on the ID, probably it's going to show us the configuration on which we have set on it. You can see that private IP, which we did set from the start. Also, we can see a few other details which you had configured during the whole process. No RAM disk. That's going to take a while to probably populate this whole thing. So probably we'll just wait for it to do its thing, and then we'll come back to wrap this up with the next task, which will be let's pull that in up quickly. We'll be attaching a security group on the EC2 instance, then creating and configuring network. I think we already did partly this, but let's see. Let's see. Okay, so next on our list, let's pull that list up. Attach security group on the EC2 instance. But I think we already did this. I'm just going to go quickly verify. I click the checkbox, then move over to action. Then I'm going to just check on change security group. Yeah, we did that already. So we've got the ULAB thing set up there. So during the creation, we already did this task. The next task which we have on our list is to, I'm going to cancel this quickly. Then I'm going to pull up that list, is to create and configure network access control lists. So for this, we're going to maybe do some search. So I'm going to search for services. Then I'm going to go look for VPC isolated cloud. I'll just type VPC. Then I'll probably select the first one there. So whilst that is loading up, what we're trying to do is to do that last task, pressing those ACL. So under the VPC management console, which we can see here being loaded, we'll go for network ACL, which we'll find somewhere here. So you can see that under security, network ACL. We're going to just select that and make those configurations which you want to do in there. So hopefully we will see you. Okay, I called it ULAB. All right, there it is. So we're going to select that, because that's what we want to make these changes on. Okay, cool. Now at the action pane, we can actually see a couple of stuff to do there, which we can actually set there. So what we're going to do is we're going to, at this start, we'll create network ACL. Then we can call it a name. We've been used to doing the ULAB thing, so maybe we'll just stick with that. Call this the ULAB stuff. Then ULAB ACL, maybe generic. Okay, so now look right here, the VPC of choice. So we're going to select what we just created. There goes the default one, but we're going with us. Okay, cool. Tagging also, we can see that we gave that tag. I think ULAB, I think ACL is fine. This is okay, pretty much okay. If there's anything else, well, let me know in the comment or the comment page. I'll be glad to probably help out if there's anything maybe more advanced than what we're doing here. Also, let me know. I'll be glad to help out. Just to let you guys know, we got our AWS Security Specialty certification, and we're pretty much proud that we've got that thing. We look forward to maybe going for the solution architect stuff, maybe just advancing a bit in that cloud security and technologies as well. Also, we've got some Microsoft stuff going. The Azure, we've got the Azure administration, and also we've got the Azure security technology. So maybe we'll be doing some Azure videos later on. Okay, so now we've got this thing. I'm just going to create this pretty much. Okay, we will find it right there. So this is ULAB ACL. So now I can still make some modifications. Obviously, I would want to probably do something around the inbound and the outbound traffic again, just like I told you from the start. So maybe we'll just probably do some inbound. Yeah, what is hitting us? Let's edit this a bit. Initially, you can look at what is happening. When we talk about ACLs, let me just talk a bit about this. By default, if I remove this, see what is there, right? It denies everything. That's actually a very, very good approach. I think it's adopting the maybe least privilege or so, because default rule is deny all. So we now have to configure what we want to allow. So basically, I can start by maybe saying I want to allow SSH, maybe only SSH. And I'm going to allow that for only 192.168.0.0, maybe /24. Only this. Now, if I save this, we have that. Oh, sorry, give it a rule number. We'll just call this maybe rule number 1. Cool. So we'll save this. Now it means once it's executing those ACL, it starts with rule number 1 and looks out for it. Only allow SSH. Then everything else, which is what the default is going to be denied. Now you can actually build this to meet with your organization security policy or architecture, just so you know you're allowing the access that you're supposed to be allowing, and you fall back to the default, disallow all. Okay, so this is where we're going to call the video quit for today. It's been pretty fun. Please do know that there are also some other granular configurations we can do around maybe egress and ingress, and also some elastic IP DHCP stuff. I'm not touching any of this now because we're just sticking to the basic configuration. I'm building this for my own personal, just for YouTube show. So for my day-to-day job, if I'm doing this, I'm actually making some other granular configuration changes, which is very, very critical to ensure that security is kept at the highest level or the highest form to prevent attacks on your instance. Okay, so thanks for sticking around, and as usual, I'm going to clean up my mess once I stop this video. Thanks for your time and have a good weekend.